basically, it is just one of those things where I just like looking at it, right? They got new information on there. The newsletter is not the same. They have different sales every single day. And so that's something that I'm kind of looking at. I just want you to kind of keep that in mind when you're putting together your newsletter, right? A lot of times what I see here is and mine's kind of generic, one that you're seeing on my screen here today, right? But wouldn't it be nice to create something we could send out that talks about your team, maybe shows some real estate stats, gives some sort of market update, etc. And there's one of two ways I think you can win this battle here. One is just the fact that you're sending this out, right? That you're getting a touch, and then on a weekly or monthly basis, someone is going, oh, Kyle Halloran real estate, right? Just that sentence in their head, even if they go and hit delete, don't even read it, to me can be a win for some people, right? And that's a touch that a lot of us aren't doing. So think about when we have clients that are, at a party this past weekend, if they haven't heard from us in 3 or 4 months, they may not stick their neck out and refer us out to somebody. But if they just got an email about, hey, let me know if you know anyone looking to buy or sell this past week, and that was something automated by you that didn't take a lot of time, there's a lot of clients I think that can come from something like that. All right. But also get creative with this. Okay. What are those other companies doing that draw us in? Is it consistency? Is it that we see it every single Saturday morning? And I know that when I wake up on Saturday, I'll have an email from Harbor Freight, and that's something I go look for on Saturdays. Okay. Or is it the content and some of the things that you're putting together there? So what I want to do today is I want to show you how we are going to create the email itself, right? How we put together an email newsletter inside of Command. And here's the great thing. Once you do it one time, we can simply just go back and edit that newsletter and update some of that information and have it ready to go for July or next week. So I'm going to let you guys figure out what that cadence looks like, but we're going to go over how to create the email, how to add in some content, right? And then how do we send this out to everyone in our database, right? So if I have 700 people in my database, how do I shoot this out? And I get a June newsletter out there and 700 people get an email from me today. And I remind them before the weekend that I'm in real estate and here's what I do. Is that clear to everybody? Everybody in the right room? Okay, perfect. All right, so here is, let's go ahead and start. So the first thing we're gonna do is, this is kind of the end result, right? Let's go ahead and get over into Command. So hopefully everyone knows how to do that, right? agent.kw.com.
Hey, Kyle, can I be a pain in the butt?
Yeah, please.
Can you X out your downloads at the bottom of the screen? My OCD-ness is out of control. I want to see all of your screen. Okay, thank you. That's
perfect. Now, guys, for this, there are 2 different applets in Command that we're going to use. So we can see all the applets over here on the left-hand side. So if you're writing down some instructions, so you can go back and watch the recording, but if you're a person that writes these things down, the 2 applets we're going to use today is number 1, designs. That's where we're going to actually create the newsletter. Right? And then we actually have 2 ways to send it out. I'm going to go over how to send it out as part of a smart plan. And that might even just be that one email, but I really like the delivery method of smart plans, and we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later in the class. All right, so designs and smart plans are the 2 that we're going to use today for the class. Everybody good there?
Yep.
All right. So let's go ahead and get to the design so you guys know where to go get these. All right, so if this is your first time doing it, there might be a little bit more of, some building we're going to do today, but moving forward, just realize this will get easier every single time. So we're going to take this on as it's a first time that we're going in there and doing this. So left-hand side, we're looking for the designs applet, which is the little easel with the little paintbrush. Let's go ahead and click on that. Right, it's going to go ahead and open up, and this is where we work on all of our designs. So this is where we can work on print marketing, different things. Notice up top, we have 4 tabs. We have email, social, print, and video. Think of it as those are the 4 different types of marketing we can do in designs. Now we're on the email tab, and I know that because right now it's highlighted on in blue. Right, if I wanted to go look at all of my print marketing, I could click on that tab, and these are showing me all of my print marketing. Now, if you don't see all these, that's okay. These are the ones that I have created. Right, so you can see right here, I've got a newsletter. This is one that I created this morning, just messing around, getting ready for the class. If I create this one time, I now have the ability to come in, click these 3 dots, and make a copy of it for July, right? And I could actually go in and I could create my July newsletter versus that being, starting from scratch again. Okay, so that's what you're seeing is my designs here that I have created. Now, how do we start a new design? Bottom right-hand corner, we see a blue button with a plus mark. Make sure your Zoom screen's not over top of it. This plus button is basically create new. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this plus button here. It's going to open up and it's going to say to me, what am I trying to create? Am I trying to create an email, social, print, video? And so for this class today, we're going to click on email, and I can go ahead and click on next. Everybody with me? So designs, create new, email. That's what we've done so far if you're just joining us. Now I want to draw your attention to the top of this screen here. We have two tabs again. One says KWRI templates. One says my design templates. So these are the generic ones. Make sure you understand, you can click on this tab right here and there's all of my designs, right? So if I need to go back in and edit something, or I've already brought some in and I want to go add a different paragraph to something, make sure you realize that there's two different tabs here, general ones in the library, and then the ones that you have created up top there as well. Okay, now we could create something from scratch. Unless you're really good at building things out and you've got that marketing mindset and that's something you really want to do, my suggestion is we go and we use the templates, right? And now there's actually 72 different types of email templates. So today we're going to focus on, the actual newsletter. But listen, if you want some of this filler stuff, right, that just sends out and is different from your newsletter, let's say we want to, there's one in here, healthy homes, right? Or chill your bills. There's a good one, right? We're in the middle of summertime. So if I wanted to blast out an email to my whole database, realize that KW has already created these different templates for you. And they've already wrote all the content, right? So here's some different ways that you could lower your energy bills and save some money here in the summer. And check this out, right? You see where it says like market center name, and down the bottom here, it's showing me that there's a placeholder for my photo and all my contact information. If you've uploaded that into your marketing profile, right, you're going to leave all this just the way it is. And if I click this little preview button, it's going to show what it's going to look like when it goes out to my consumer. Check this out, right? Here's an email completely done, and it auto-populates in all of my information from my marketing profile.
Oh my God.
It auto brings in your picture, your name, your phone number, right? Your link to your website. All those things are already done. Okay, so hopefully you're starting to see where this can become very easy for you. Questions on this so far? And now the next thing we'll do is we'll start building out the actual email itself. Last thing up top here, guys, I just got a call on this actually today. What does it look like if I'm looking at it on my phone? Great question. Notice up top, there are these three buttons and it shows you, this is what it's going to look like on a desktop. If someone's looking at it on their iPad, that's what it's going to look like there. It's going to center your logo. If I'm looking at it on my phone, right, and it's very narrow, that's what it's going to look like there. So it should be responsive to the type of, mobile device or laptop that someone's using to view your email on their phone, right? But everything still looks good, recentered, all my information, that's what it looks like on the phone. Okay, so just if you can learn the newsletter aspect of this, you can really then start utilizing all the different templates that are in here waiting for you to go use. All right, so let's build a newsletter. So I'm going to click the plus button. We're going to go back again to email. So we're going to create an email. And they have a couple different formats of these, right? You'll see where it says classic newsletter B, it says modern newsletter B. They're very similar formats. That's not what's different about them. It's really the text that is being used, right? So if you want to look at them, you can simply click on it and open it. I'm going to click on classic. Let's just use that one today as an example. So classic newsletter B. If I click on this, you can see it highlights, right? And I can then come down here at the bottom and I'm going to click the next button. Right, so highlight newsletter B, that's what I want to create. Now I'm coming over and I'm going to open it up. Okay, and this is what it looks like. So these, just imagine again that these are just placeholders, but it's kind of set up for you. So your job is going to be to go in here, add in some photos, right? Add in some blurbs or some paragraphs about some information, and then we'll be ready to send this thing out. So I'm going to give you some suggestions today of how we can fill this in. But notice again, I don't need to fill any of this out. At the bottom, that's all going to come in from my marketing profile. So if I was happy with this template and this setup where I basically have a picture, a header, a paragraph, and I've got 3 of those different sections, right? This is where we start. Now, guys, this is the exact one that I used, and in 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to customize it, and it's going to end up looking like this. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're going to customize that template and we're going to add in some of our own information. So it looks like that. Okay. So where do you get some, the next question is going to be is, where do we get some inspiration on the type of things that a client is going to find valuable? So this goes back to that value conversation, right? If you just put up about interest rates and what's going on with interest rates, is that a great value to a lot of your database? Because remember who this is going out to. What are some things that we want to communicate? Let's come up with a few ideas as a group. What are some things that we want to include in our market newsletter for June?
DAR or NVAR statistics.
Okay, so let's come up with some real estate stats. Now, I will tell you guys this. Real estate stats will be the thing that is clicked on the least of anything in your newsletter. I think it's important to put it in there because it shows if someone really is a nerd and they want to get in and look at those numbers, but just remember who we're sending this to. This is people that probably aren't in the market, right? So, but we want to get a blurb in there about it. So Leland, 100% I agree. What are some other things we could put in there that clients might actually click on?
Something about lawn care?
Something about lawn care? Okay, I love that. What if you as an agent called a lawn care company and said, I'm getting ready to put out a newsletter to 700 people in my database. Can I get a coupon code from you? And if you normally charge $50 a lawn, could you do it for 45 for my clients only? And now in our newsletter, we could say summer special, right? Partnership with Maria DePoche Lawn Services. Call her and let her know Kyle Holleran, and it's a $45
coming
fee.
soon, just wait. But it's going to be a tree trimming company.
Okay, there you go. All right, it's a great idea. Let's kick around a few more because this is where people get stuck, right? Let's kick around a few more ideas. What else can we add into this newsletter?
Beth in my office said home improvements.
Okay.
How about
things in the summertime you might need to be paying attention to at your house, right? Your gutter's cleaned out, so when it thunderstorms, it doesn't spill over. Go ahead, Richard.
how about links to great vacation spots?
Okay, that's awesome. What about summer festivals in Richmond or Northern Virginia, right? What are the things happening this summer that instead of them trying to go find all these different things, you say, click on here and it takes them to your website with a list of things that are happening in Leesburg, as an example, over the course of the summer.
Or do it by category, like just music events.
Okay, great. Karen? Oh, I can't hear you, Karen. I think your mic's not connected. So you're unmuted. So we'll work on that. I'll come back to you. Here's the other one. Do any of you guys get newsletters from other agents around the country?
Yes.
I do.
All right, go pull inspiration from those, right? See what really attracts your eyes when you open that newsletter. You're going, man, I really like that. I like how that agent did that. That's just inspiration, right? Rip off and duplicate. So what I've done is I've actually gone around to some of the top teams around the country and I've signed up for their newsletter on their website, right? And simply what I'm doing is it's just I'm gathering information about what these big teams or what these really great agents are putting out there that seems to work, and I'm learning from that and I'm trying to repurpose that for my own team. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's go back to this screen here. So here we are. I want to go over some editing rules I want everyone to pay attention to. So don't space out on me here because this is where people are going to get stuck. On the right-hand side, we have all these different widgets. Okay. Now they've already added a bunch of these widgets to create this format here, right? They have brought in a image section. They have brought in text section. So they've already gone in and used these widgets to frame this up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in there and we're going to start editing these things. So watch how I do this. When I click on a picture here, guys, when I actually click on the photo, do you see how I get these two little icons in the top right-hand corner? One's a little pencil. And so if you click on this little pencil, that's what allows it to open up. And now I'm editing that photo. You see that? Okay. Then above that, we have a little button that says done, right? So after you go ahead and you edit something here, I'm going to go back and hit done, and I'll show you how we do this. But I just want to show this to you. If I want to edit this text right here, I'm going to click on the text. I click on the pencil. It opens up the text box over here where I can retype that information and type out my paragraph. All right, so just be aware of that's how we actually edit what's on the screen here in front of us. Same thing for copy headline. If I want to change that, I can do that. right? And it'll go ahead and switch it over to change that headline. Now, I can always add stuff here. So if any of you guys are maybe big video people, right? This is where I could go ahead and I could grab a video and I could say, you know what? And we'll pull that in a little bit later, but you can pull in any of these. So if you have a listing, a new listing coming up, you can actually pull in this listing block and it's already formatted to highlight your listing for you, right? If you're having a client appreciation party, there's already a part here that you could drop into your newsletter and you can see that it's set up and ready to go for you just to add in a cover photo and some details about when and what your event is about. Okay, so they're all kind of pre-built widgets. Make sense? Okay. So let's start adding some information here like we talked about. Now, what photos can you guys use? This is a big one, right? Can you just go grab any photos you want off of the MLS or off of online and just put those photos in? No. So where are we going to get photos? So again, back on my newsletter here, I've got my little first paragraph that I created, and this is what you guys need to think about individually for yours. My first paragraph here is Hollerin Real Estate is here to help, with a little blurb about what we can do to help you. And I just wrote this morning, right? This isn't kind of a real one, but here at Hollerin Real Estate Group, our goal is to provide any information you need for buy, sell, and investing in real estate. We can be reached at our phone number, or right, I can make a text a hyperlink. And so I can actually have it, go to my website on the contact me form if I want to, right? I can start to add links into this newsletter. So I went and got this picture just as like a placeholder, right? What are some ideas that you guys can share with the group here on where we can get the photos that we're allowed to use to make our newsletters look great? High quality pictures.
Well, that's not a real tough Google search, really. I mean,
Okay, but that's what you gotta be careful about, right? You gotta be careful because if you just do a Google image search and you use that, we have agents all the time that get caught because they do a reverse prospect on that image and people will get fined. All right, there are these websites, guys, and if you're gonna Google anything, Richard, what I want you to Google is royalty-free photos.
right.
Okay, that's what I want you to Google, royalty-free photos. And in here, there are a couple websites, right? Pixabay is one. There's another one here called Unsplash. That's another, where you can download high quality images and you can use them on your newsletter. Nicole.
So if you go on Canva and you either purchase a stock photograph as part of a design or you use one of their stock photographs, do we need to worry about royalties on that, or do you know?
No, I think if those photos, if you paid for them, if they're behind a paywall and you paid that, then you get the rights to use that image, right? I don't think it's specifically on Canva. But to your point, Nicole, when you create something really cool, a really cool graphic in Canva or designs, that a lot of times is saved as an image. So it doesn't need to be an individual picture, right? It could be something that has a banner or has something else included in it or whatever it's going to be. You create that somewhere and you upload that, and that's your photo. All right. So there's a couple different ideas around that. So what I did was I went to Unsplash here, right? It says download free images. I come in and I say, I'm looking for a picture on an office, like, or, people collaborating or whatever it's going to be. And here comes all these different photos, right? Or I could type in real estate. Let's see what happens when I type in real estate. Okay. So I got these different pictures here. Maybe it's this one, right? That looks like for a lot of us where we work, that could be a Virginia home for sure. Right. So now all I have to do is I can go down and I can download this picture. I have a nice high quality image that looks great. And once I download this photo, so let me go ahead and do it. I'll download this photo. All right. I'll go back over to my design here. I click on the image. I click on the pencil, meaning I want to edit this image. And here's my options. So it says, okay, what image do you want to bring in? So I can say, let's replace this image or add one. I have a few options, right? Is it one that I've already uploaded in? Is this one of my images I've had? Or do I want to add an image from my computer? And so you have three options there. So for this case, I'm going to add it from my computer. And I'm going to bring in the picture I just downloaded, which was this one right here in terms of this little front porch. Everybody see that? I click open. The image comes in. I say, great, that's the image I want to use. And I click replace. And now we're going to see it over here squared up properly, right? With a nice high quality image.
So Kyle, another question about images and design, because I've not gotten in there a whole bunch. If I am working on a newsletter and I upload an image, whenever I'm working on something else, will that image be available in my gallery, like for a web page I'm working on or a print piece, or
It's
are
it's
they
specific to the
separate
type that
buckets?
you're doing, Nicole. So if you upload one to email, you could use it for future emails almost, right? But in terms
Gotcha.
of, you know, if you're going to go over and make a print thing, it's pulling from a different source of photos. Good question. Okay. Now check this out. If I click done here, now all of a sudden it's starting to format on my newsletter. So there it is, right? There's my photo. Now we're starting to look a little bit fancier. We're starting to build this out. Now, right now, that's just a flat photo. But check this out. If I go back and I click edit again, notice down here, I also could make this a hyperlink. And where do I want to hyperlink this to? So I could hyperlink it to a web address somewhere, right? And you can actually type in where it would link to. So if I wanted someone to go to my website, if they clicked on that picture, I could go ahead and put in my website address, right? kyleh.kw.com. This is where I want you to think about, if you had a great resource that said, here's everything happening in Leesburg this month, you don't need to go recreate it. You know, you could create a graphic that says, click here for all the events in Leesburg. When they click on that, you could take them to that link potentially where they could see all the different events. Okay. So I'll hit save and exit. And now that picture is also a hyperlink. Okay. I just clicked off by accident. All right, so there it is. Now, again, what I like to do is, do you see this little eyeball in the top right-hand corner up here? This is your consumer preview. So what I do is I like to click on this little eyeball, and it shows me what it will really look like when it goes out. So I'm going, hey, I like that. That's a great photo. I like the size of it. It fits in there. Let's keep working on the rest of it. And I can kind of click back here and keep going. So I'm going to click on sub-headline copy. Same thing. I'm going to click the little pencil, and I'm going to type in, you know, June. Real estate is booming in June. Let's do something like that. Okay. Now notice, do I want my headline to be the same color and same size as my paragraph? Probably not. I want it to be a headline. So I can highlight this text. I can change the font. I can change the size of the text. I can make it bold. Okay. So you have all of your editing options as normal. I can even center it if I want to. So you have paragraph centering tools here as well. Let's say I want it centered. I can center it on that page. I click done. And there you go. There's my headline now. Real estate is booming in June. I go down to this little paragraph. I do the same thing. I click edit. And this is where, you know, you're just going to spend. You might have to spend 30 minutes a week, right? Preparing these things, but I think it make a huge impact. So this is where I could say the real estate market, blah, 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 right? I'm not going to type this whole thing out today. I want to keep showing you how to use it. You guys get it, right? I can write out my paragraph here, whatever it's going to be. I can change the font if I need to. Again, I hit done, and there's my paragraph, right? It's all my little gibberish there, or whatever it's going to be. Okay, so now I've done my first section. I've got picture, this, and a little paragraph. Everybody good? Does everyone understand how we're editing these templates? Let me stop there for a second.
Yes, and I love this.
Good. Now, there's buttons. Do you see these little buttons right here? Okay, so this little button here, an example might be, what if you had reviews on your website? And I could click this little pencil icon, and instead of it saying link copy, I could say, read my reviews, or something along those lines. I can change what that button says. I also get to say, someone clicks on that button, where are we taking them to? So I'm going to take them to Kyle H, right? kyleh.kw.com/reviews, right? If you have that page set up. If not, it might go to your Google domain reviews or something along those lines. I'm a big fan of driving everyone back to your website because then they stay there, right? They're not needing to go somewhere else. I can even change the color of the button. So if your team had a teal color logo, you know, and you wanted to kind of have that as your color scheme, I can change the photo of the button, come back up top here, hit done. And there you go. Now I've got a blue button that says read my reviews that'll take them to wherever I want to take them to. We're going to keep going. So on mine, the second thing I did was I went and grabbed some real estate stats. Now I use something called Smart Charts, right? Which a lot of people like to use. If not, right, DAR, NVAR, Richmond Association of Realtors, they all usually come out with a graphic for you, right? That you could use for marketing. So let's go grab that graphic. And now we're going to make the second section of our newsletter, right? Real estate stats. So I'll come in here. I can edit this. I'm going to call it real estate stats. Okay. I'll hit, let's make that 22 and bold because it's a headline and I want it centered, done, right? And there we go. Okay, so I want to go get a picture now. So same thing, I'm going to edit this and I could add a picture. Let me show you something here though. What if we decided instead of doing a photo like that of stats, what if we did a quick little video, right? And we brought this in and we dropped the video in. You see all of a sudden now it gives us this little play button on there almost, right? So it kind of prompts the consumer to click that button. So if I created a little 1-minute video and I said, hey, here's what's going on in the real estate market in Northern Virginia, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Again, I can now upload that video to YouTube. I can click this little pencil icon and I can enter the URL of what video it is and add a little thumbnail. And now that's what they're going to see, right? So it doesn't all have to be images. You can even prompt people to click on this video, which will start the video for them. So it's almost like a little bit of a, a bomb feature. Now the difference is it doesn't play inside the email. It'll link them over to YouTube. But if you got other content there, again, you're getting them a little bit deeper into your web. All right, so let me go ahead and add a little thumbnail here. Let's say I did a video and it looked like this, and I hit replace and I hit done. Right now, that's what it looks like. Okay. I can do another space here in between. So there's some space there. So again, now I've got real estate's booming in June, read my reviews. I got my monthly real estate stats video sitting there that's got a play button for them to prompt to click on. I can come down here and write a little blurb or just delete it. See, there's a little trash can right there. So I want them to watch my video instead of read about real estate stats. So I'm going to delete that. And that's now what it is. It's just a picture. Right? I could edit that little button again if I wanted to. I'll leave that one the way it is. And then let's go to our third one here. So this one on mine, I kind of made it a, what's your home worth type situation. Okay, so I just repeated the same process again. I went to a site like this. I clicked on a photo like this, let's say, and I clicked download. Came back over to my template, and I said my third section here is going to be edit, replace the image, the one that I just downloaded. So I go to my add images, and I'll open up my files from my computer. There's the one I just downloaded of the inside of the house. Okay, I add it in, I click done. Now there's my photo. I go to my headline copy, I change that. That's gonna say now, what's your home worth? Okay, make it bold, center it, make it 22, hit done. Now, these are the things I'm telling you are the one-time actions. So if you're gonna have a section in there that always says, what's my home worth? If I build this for June, come July, all I have to do is copy this newsletter I built for June, maybe change my blurb up top or whatever I'm speaking about up here, change out my video for July stats. I might be able to leave this just the way it is and send it out again. So hopefully you can see how this gets easier moving forward. So I could say, blah, blah, blah. This is what's happening with home values. On the button here, I could click on and I could say, so free market analysis. And I want that button to be black. And it's going to link to the web address, which is on my website. I've got, a landing page where someone could contact me about the CMA, and I'll take them to that website, right? So kyleh.kb.com/CMA. I hit done. There's my free market analysis. I know I spelled that wrong. And that's it. Now I'm done. Okay, so if I wanted to, and I was satisfied with what this looks like, this is now the email that's ready to go out to my entire database with all my little blurbs, with my little blue button, et cetera, right? And all my information, personal information is already filled in there from command from your marketing profile. That's the basics, guys, right? This is where you can now get creative. If you want to add more sections, you can, right? If you wanted to highlight a listing, let's say we want to add that. I come over here, I have this listing block, I'm able to pull it in. And as I add things, you can see this little green line starts to appear, and that's where I'm putting it. So I could drop that there, and I could come in here and I could actually edit and select the listing from the MLS. Or if I've got something that's coming soon, it's not syndicating yet, I could add a picture of it potentially. I could add in the address, the price, et cetera there. And then it's going to show up that way on my website. So I could say coming soon listing, right, in Fair Oaks. I could add an image, right? So I could pull one from in here. I think I also have the ability to upload one. And then I can put in the information. Okay, hit done. And now I've got a little address block there. So I'm going to delete this one because I don't want to fill out that whole thing and waste time. But just notice, this, what we're creating is the basics, and we can upgrade that over here on the right. Everybody good? Everybody good on the design aspects? Anyone feel like that's completely overwhelming and something that they cannot do? Okay, so I'm gonna save this, everybody. So let's go up top here. This is important. I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna call this June newsletter class. Right, so we know which one is which. So I'm gonna name it. I'm gonna hit save and exit. All right, and now you've done the work of prepping your newsletter, and now we just have to go to the second step, which is going to be delivering this out to everybody. Okay, so save and exit. It'll do that for me, and now we're closed down.
Hey, Kyle.
Yes.
One thing about saving, does it automatically save as you're working on it, or do you need to constantly go up there and save it? Because I've had problems with that in the past when I do other things in design.
Yeah, it's not necessarily auto saving on this side, Cindy. So you are right. You really need to make sure you're going up there and hitting save. What I actually do is I go up to the top and rename it like right away, right? Don't wait to do that. And then I go up and there's a save and exit. And so when I do something or I put in a big section, I click the save button and that will save it, right? It won't close it. Save and exit will save it and close it out.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Good question. All right, now, who feels like they know about smart plans, right? Like, what's a smart plan? It's basically just a delivery method that we can do. So for me, there is another way to send these out in campaigns. That's called the email campaign. That gets difficult because you've got to add people to a list, right? So if I added 10 new people to my database this month, if I haven't gone and added them to the email list, right, they're not going to get the newsletter. And so the way I'm going to show you here is a different way to do it, which I actually prefer, which is to send out a one-step smart plan. Nothing else included, right? There's no text messages. There's no tasks. There could be if you wanted to, but I just want to send out my June newsletter to everyone in my database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in now and I'm going to go to Smart Plans. Okay, and I open this up. When I open Smart Plans, it gives me a little bit of a dashboard where I can see my smart plans that I've created before. But for this, what I want to do is top right-hand corner, I'm going to click on Create. All right, so I hit Create, and I'm going to call this newsletter, I'll call this June, I'll name it today. It's a June 24 newsletter. I also want you to realize, guys, we can schedule these smart plans. That's one of the features that I like about smart plans. So if you were going to go away for the 4th of July or the first 2 weeks of July, you could create your newsletter right now. You could then go and add everyone to it and delay the start of the smart plan until July 3rd. Right? So you go on vacation and Command will hold that newsletter before it sends it out to everybody, which is really cool. So I'm going to call it June 24th newsletter. I'll click Apply. You haven't been in here before, and hopefully you have, because this is a very powerful tool now, is these smart plans that we can build over and over again on top of each other and create this big old smart plan. Or I'm just going to make it a one-step smart plan. And what I mean by that is I'm just going to add in an email step. That's it. That's what the entire smart plan is. It's just my email. Now I have my name up top there. My subject might be June newsletter, Hollerin real estate, right? So I'll name it. I'll name that subject lines. When they see the email, this is what they'll see in bold. And then for the email type right here, this is missed by a lot of people. You have two options. You either can type out an email and I can say, hi, I hope everyone has a great, June, here's what's going on. That's not a great look, right? It's not a professional look. My other option is, check this out. It says designs. And so if I click on designs, it'll say select design. And guess which one I'm selecting? The one we just created, right? So it defaults to the templates, but I can go over to my design templates and there it is right there. June newsletter class. I can say that's the one I want to send out as the email. I'll say, got it, right? You can make any sort of final edits here if you need to, right? So it brings it in and I can look at it again and I can edit it here if I have to, or if everything still looks good because I just did it, I could say save and exit. And you'll now see in my smart plan, that is the email that will go out as part of that smart plan. Okay. So I'm going to save this smart plan. And then watch how easy this is to send it out to everyone in your database without worrying about email lists or anything else. I'm going to go to my contact screen now. And this is why I love this. If you have people that are labeled A's or you're using your different tags inside of commands, you could actually filter down and send this just to those people. So I just want to send it to my A's. I could filter down and add all my A's to that smart plan. Or if I wanted to send this to everybody and just blast it out to everybody, remember that over here on the right-hand side, for the default is show 1 of 10, but you can actually change that to say, show me 1 of 500 contacts, right? So now I have a huge list of 500 people here. And all I have to do here, guys, is hit this select all button up top at the very top of the contacts list. I hit select all. Once I do that, I get this button appears, says select bulk action. And my bulk action is going to be add to smart plan. And it pops out and it says which smart plan. I'll say June 24th newsletter. That's the one I just created. Now I have this option here. So I want to hit go and confirm. And now all 500 of those people get that email from me right now. Or do I want to delay it and I want it to go out on a certain date? And that's what we would do is if you're going on vacation, you could set it up to say, hey, let's send this one out on July 15th. Create your July newsletter now and be done with it. While you're on vacation in an RV somewhere in Yellowstone, your newsletter just went out to 500 people in your database and you didn't miss a beat. That's it. And as soon as I hit this button, if I click this start all now, all those people are going to get it. Now, what I'm going to do is instead of sending it out to all these people, since that's not a real one, okay, I'm going to come in here and search for, let me go ahead and search for this real fast. So I'll put in my name and I'll say, this is the person I want to add to the smart plan. So I'm actually going to click these little 3 dots here and say, add smart plan, select and send. And I'll show you right now in real time. All right, let me stop the share of my screen for a second. Go over to my email, open it up. And we'll pull up the email because it comes over to you that quickly. Okay, while I pull up that email, any questions on that process that we just did? Yep, go ahead. Leland.
So if we are in the process, we're about to send it out and we realize, ooh, I realize someone's not in my contacts. Can you enter in an email by itself or do you have to go back and enter them as a contact?
Yep, they need to be a contact. So all of our smart plans or the other section, it works off of the contact itself. Yep, so that is what you'll need to do. Okay.
Kyle, when you were changing screens, there was something in red about if you have some account or something. What was that?
I think it's just basically talking about like, these people can unsubscribe from this. I have to go back and see what that was. Jan, it didn't stop me from sending it. I'll have to see. Let me go back and look and see.
There was something about Twilio or something.
Oh, so anytime you launch a smart plan, they just have a disclaimer on there because people will include a text step in the smart plan, and then they're confused on why command texted out their people. So it's just a disclaimer saying, realize that a text will go out if you want it to happen that way.
Okay.
Let me show you. Let me open my screen up again here because it just came through. So that's how fast it is, right? Really quickly, there it is, right? So it has my name, Kyle Holleran, June newsletter. If I open that up, there's the newsletter that we just built together. So again, this is on my laptop. So there's a picture we just downloaded. There's our blue little button that would take them to read your reviews. You can see that these are hyperlinks. So I can click on them. There's my little video, right? And if I clicked on this video, it's going to open up a YouTube, page and start playing my video. Okay, so that's how it works, but you can get yourself in front of them that way. There's the picture. What's my home worth? Click on for free market analysis. There's all my contact information. Boom. Okay.
Question.
Yes.
What happens if somebody hits reply to this email?
Perfect. So over in command, guys, I'm going to go here really quickly. In the top section here, you see your name. Everybody see your name? You click on that and you go to settings. In settings, at the very bottom, I'm going to scroll down here. There is a section that says email settings, right? So I'll go all the way to the bottom here. It's this one right here. It says command email. I have the ability to manage this, Nicole. And if I click manage, this is what's in bold on the email, right? So mine said Kyle Holleran. If you wanted it to say Duffy Real Estate Team, that's what it could say, right? It doesn't need to necessarily say your individual name. And then below that, you see where it says reply to email. And so you choose. So if someone were to reply to you, you direct on where that email is coming back to you, right? So it's just like MailChimp. It mails it out in a big bulk format. And then if I were to hit respond to this, right? If I were to hit reply and say, hey, Kyle, thanks so much for the newsletter. We're thinking about buying or selling our house. That will come back to my personal email as long as I have it set up that way inside of the settings of email in Command. Okay. Questions, concerns, additions?
So this is recorded, correct? So we could go back in case not all of us are at light speed, pick up from Kyle Holleran's light speed.
No,
teaching.
absolutely. That's the whole point of recording it, right? I want you to get the general picture of what this can accomplish, right? And then you guys go back and execute, right? You can pause the video and things like that and stop and work on it. But I just wanted to make sure you saw kind of, start to finish what that looks like. Now, again, let's say we're in July. Watch how easy this is. I'm gonna simply go into designs. I'm gonna go to my email tab, right? Which is gonna default to my email tab. There's my June newsletter. I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna click these three little dots. I say, make a copy. I'm gonna call the copy this one here. I can actually rename this and I'll rename it to call it July newsletter. Hit finish. I can now open this. I change the stats for July. I rewrite a couple of my little paragraphs or blurbs there. I hit save and exit. I create the smart plan. I send it out. So it's really a front end issue of just getting out your first one and creating that system. And now that's a repeatable system that we can move forward and doing. And I see some people, they're doing them weekly, right? They'll put in their open houses or whatever it's going to be. And I see some that are doing it monthly. I know some that are doing it quarterly, but regardless, there's a great touch tool in here for these types of emails.
Kyle, I have a question.
Yes.
So in campaigns, you have the option to do an email. Why are you doing it through the smart plan instead of by an email list?
Perfect. All right. So number one for teams, the email list doesn't work from the team database. Okay. That's number one, Rachel. The second part of it, though, and actually the part's more important to me is when you do an email list from campaigns, it actually sends to a list. So if I added 5 or 8 new people to my database this week, I would have had to make sure I've added them to the list first and then send it out. What I like about smart plans is I can just go and say, send it out to everyone in my database to a select all. I don't have to worry about the list aspect of it. So that's why, and you can do it either way. You can manage it either way. 100%. So that's the difference though for me is I don't have to upkeep a list.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Other questions? Let me go back and see what questions we have here. So Maria asked, can we print these? Not necessarily, right? They are in the email format. It's almost like what you put on TikTok isn't the same thing you put on Facebook, isn't the same thing you put on Instagram, right? They're kind of made for different platforms. So you could print it, potentially, but these are long newsletters typically. So I would say that there are in campaigns, there's, flyers almost that you could retrofit and create like a print newsletter if that's something that you wanted to do.
Hey, Kyle, on as far as the length or the number of sort of sections that you've got in your newsletter as you were going through there, and I saw at the end where you said that you can add a listing and all that, and all this is great, by the way, but you want to keep it a relatively manageable or shorter length. I mean, just given the lack of attention span for most people, is there a limit to, in your own practice, something that you shouldn't make it longer than X number of things to click on?
No, I think that's where we got to find that sweet spot, right? I just want everyone to have some realization around like, how are people really going to spend, maybe one client will, are people spending 30 minutes reading through everything on here? Or is it more about the consistency of getting it out and them seeing Richard Hampton Realtor, like every single month, right? That's the part I'm bigger on. So yeah, focus on the doing and less on the perfection. I'm going to pull up another one here from an agent that I get sent every once in a while. Theirs is much longer, but I think you'll see. Yep, here's one here. Share my screen. So this is one that I'm on like someone's email list, right? This is the Fulcrum Property Group out of DC. Here's theirs. Okay. And so again, this is what I was saying. This is the image, but realize they created this in Canva. And so it gives it this effect, right? Where you got text and a picture, but that's all a picture there. So that's what you can do. There's their little button. So theirs is all about their team, some fun news there, right? As you scroll down, there's their market update, local thermometer, right? So you can just see, like, this one's long, Richard, right? They've got a lot of subsections in here. They've got, you know, maximize your selling potential with tips on how to sell your home, right? Featured listings, they've got 4 or 6 of those in there. So theirs is much longer. Now I don't read this, right, on a weekly basis, obviously. But if you're, you know, if you're part of that team or you're getting that from them, this might be something that's interesting for you. So, you know, you don't need a design background. We can kind of create something extremely similar, right? And you decide kind of how long that is or what the content is that you're providing.
Hey, Kyle.
Yes, ma'am.
You had mentioned earlier that the stats section is probably the thing that people click on the least rather. Is there something that you know for sure is always going to get people's attention? I mean, the top, I'm assuming pictures more than words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, but I do think so. Sometimes people, you know, pictures are great, right? So infographics are great, right? Talk to your title partners, talk to your mortgage partners and see what sort of, you know, resources they could give you. You know, I think when we think about who's receiving this, like when I was home for COVID, the commercials that are on in the middle of the day are completely different than the commercials we see at 7 p.m. So what I would say to that, Cindy, is think about who's in your database, what's their age group potentially, right? What are their interests in? And you got to try to tailor it to them if you really want them to click on it. If I know that a lot of my clients live in Northern Virginia, I might be putting together, here's what's going on at Wolf Trap this summer, and give them an easy link to click on that. And that might be something that they're looking for, you know, often. I like that idea of vendors, music, events, right? Because listen, not everyone is buying and selling. Some of these people bought a year ago from you, right? So if everything is real estate specific, there's nothing in there that they really care about, right?
Gotcha.
We all kind of get tired of interest rates once we buy a house. It's like, don't talk about interest rates again. So that's what I'm saying. We got to mix it up, and you got to have a little bit of everything. But you know, it'll be interesting to see. You know, could you do a contest? Could you do an online? You know, you're promoting your online buyer seminar. Like, I don't know, right? But this is where it gets interesting, and this is where I'm telling you, go do some recon on what other agents are doing, see what jumps out. And as every month, you know, this should be getting a little bit more traction, or just set it and forget it. And at least you're getting the touches going out, and they're getting the reminder of Terry Rader, right?
Is there any way to check the stats of what is being clicked on?
Not at this time. We can't get that detailed on it, but we will eventually. Yep. And MailChimp and things like that, a lot of times we can see where people are clicking on or what they're doing. Don't have those analytics in there, but KW is building them. I've actually been on some labs where you can see, it'll show you like a progress report of, you know, who's clicked on what.
Cool.
So
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep.
And you could also put a link in there or a button in there so that people can go somewhere and tell you what their favorite parts of your newsletter is. And you can get an idea of that if you think people will give you an honest answer.
Yeah, you can put a button in there that says, give me a Google review, right? Click here to give me a Google review, and sometimes make that easy for them and get that Google review. On my website, this is something you guys have seen me do before. I've got a video on that. You know, I've got a mortgage calculator on here that I've put into this website, right? And so I could put a little blurb in there that says, like, you know, do you know what you want to afford? You know, click here. And it actually takes them into my website where they can actually go through and work on this little mortgage calculator. So lots of things we could be doing. I've got my buyer presentation hosted in here. So it could be, you know someone looking to buy, send them this ebook, right? And that's the marketing background that a lot of us don't have that we need to think about. Like, what do we click on because someone goes, get a free ebook? And we go, oh, I want a free ebook. Okay, well, guess what this is? This is my buyer's guide out of command from Designs that I made into an ebook, right, on a free platform. And I've got it on my website, and I've got a video on my YouTube channel on how to do this. And I can now in my newsletter say, free ebook on how to buy, share this with anyone you know looking to buy or sell, right? If it's just, here's what's happening in the market, there's no links, there's just a couple pictures, are we really providing value to somebody, or do we need things like this that's really going to keep them coming back and looking at our next newsletter moving forward? Okay.
Cool.
Here's what I will do. I'm going to host this video on my YouTube channel, which I think a lot of you guys have. In addition, I think a lot of you might have seen the post this morning I put on the tech page that said we were having this class today. So once I get the recording, I'm going to put it on that thread as well. So if you'd like to go back and just grab it off of that thread and watch it again, pause it, whatever you need to do, that's where it will be. and comment on that thread. If you have any questions, if you get stuck somewhere, let's all kind of work off of that thread so we can learn from one another. And so that's where we'll host the video, and that's where you guys can ask some follow-up questions on this topic. Any final
Sounds
thoughts?
good.
Okay. All right,
Perfect.
everybody. Have a
Thanks,
great
Kyle.
afternoon. Happy Thursday. Have a great week, and get outside. It's beautiful today. Good seeing all your faces. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.